Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 27 of Impact Makers. After last week's role reversal, we're back to me asking Dustin some questions. But to level set here, it's beginning of March, busy season for CPA firms, at least for compliance work, right, Dustin?
Yeah, really busy right now. Really busy time of year for compliance work, and some advisory work still getting done.
Right on. We've had a couple of coaching calls that have kind of coalesced together that really brought back up some thinking that we have done recently, going back a couple of years, really focusing on the business model that CPA firms are operating in specific to compliance. And so I have a question for you, Dustin. The traditional business model for compliance, do you think that's still relevant today?
It has become abundantly clear. If we first started talking about this a couple of years ago, but especially this year, that there needs to be a pretty significant transformation of that business model and a rethinking of compliance work, especially as we dive in, some recent conversations have dove more into the tax side of things, both individual and business tax, and how the way you've done things in the past is becoming completely outdated. The way you've incentivized people in the past is becoming completely outdated with where we're at and where we're going with technology automation, with what we're seeing from gig sourcing and outsourcing that firms are doing, and some that are taking advantage of it, some that aren't. We have to have a complete level set and transformation of how you view the compliance work that's done within your firm. And we all know we're trying to get more advisory, but you still have to address how are you getting the work done and look at the profitability and business model of that compliance work. There's lots to talk about, lots to change. And unfortunately, I think some firms are really feeling the pinch right now.
Why do you think they're feeling that? What do you think's driving that pinch? Is this year different than any other, or put your finger on one or two things?
Yeah, I think obviously COVID's having an impact here, and most firms made a pretty successful transition to the work from home and that type of thing, and that dynamic, and getting into a routine with that. But now that we are seeing that our workforce and our business models can handle more of a flexible work from home, maybe hybrid office environment, that adds some complexity and dynamics to, especially on the incentivizing, right? If it's a different way to manage if they're not in the office. If you have people working from home, it opens up a lot more opportunities of where you might be able to pull talent from, and it gets back to if we're looking at being able to be open geographically more than we ever have to talent, can we explore some other options as well, and not just have, can we look at gig sourcing or some outsourcing options as well? So I think that's one part of it. COVID has made work from home more relevant and kind of easy to see. The other thing is we continue to, see a disconnect between the technology, the automation that's available, and how firms are using it, and how far they're taking it, and having a bunch of inconsistencies there. Some firms are so close to figuring this out, but the ones that aren't, like I said, they're feeling the pinch, because there's just been demand has been actually pretty high this, for CPA firm, because of all the PPP work and all, last year. I mean, it was for a while there, it was a little scary of, are we going to lose revenue? Or, a lot of firms are up and up pretty significantly revenue wise. So there's just a lot of work that has to get done, and firms are finding out their processes and their technology, and especially thinking about the business model of combining process and technology, they have not kept up with that, and it's showing right now.
Yeah, and I think to summarize, like you said, there's a lot here, and so we're probably going to come back to this topic in the next couple of episodes. But to get people thinking, here's what we keep coming back to. Firms are more and more comfortable with the different outsourcing partners and even on-demand gig sourcing, the tax files, the expat tax, whether it's domestically or, offshore. They're getting more and more comfortable with that. And those pricing models are changing to you pay a price to get from A to B in your process. And it's not necessarily going back. There's not back and forth like they would before. What's shining out, or what's showing up, I should say, today in the COVID environment is the opportunity that maybe we should be looking at incentivizing our people within that model as well.
Yep.
Instead of requiring a certain amount of hours, maybe we give them a bonus based on complexity of a return for each one that they get done.
Yep.
That is something that can be tracked. We've seen it before. And so that's the question that we would like to pose to our CPA firm listeners is, what do you think about changing your bonus structure for focusing on compliance work to have a bonus on a piece rate, as opposed to just paying the hour and having a chargeable hour bonus? What about a piece rate bonus?
Yep, as we said, process, technology, and business model transformation are impacting compliance work within firms. That last part is under that business model transformation. Firms have got to get in front of that. Otherwise, there's some attractive opportunities for your people that are more in that I get paid for what I get done and not just the effort I put into things.
Yeah, we see a big opportunity here, but let's keep the conversation going. Let us know what you think. Post a comment. Let's keep the dialogue going. So until the next time.